Comfort is often the first thing we're willing to give up. But don't let style be the reason you aren't comfy. Mack Weldon's Ace Collection makes it effortless to look put together while feeling truly comfortable. Inspired by their best-selling sweatpants, the Ace Collection combines everyday comfort with long-lasting and confident looks. Upgrade your collection for the new year with new bomber jackets, half-zips, sweats, crew necks, and much more. Go to MackWeldon.com and get 20% off your first order of $125 or more with promo code MAC25.
Farewell, Michael Carrick. We hardly knew ye.
Yes,
I'd
66.67% win rate, the best of any manager for United
ever.
Legend.
Well, I mean, to be fair, it's a weird thing to call somebody. The word is a weird word. And Michael Carrick's got a sort of fairly decent bona fides to be considered a proper all-timer. But I don't think he is universally considered to be so. Still slightly dividing opinions. But he won everything, literally everything.
5 Premier League titles, Champions League, Club World Cup. He won everything. 460 odd games, so he's in the top sort of 15 most appearances for United ever, something like that. I'm making the ranking up, but something like that.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. If it wasn't Michael Carrick, who seemed to divide people because of who he followed in that position,
yeah.
I think you would look at that record and go, yep, in any other club, they'd be building statues. I mean, there are players at Manchester City who've played far fewer games and won far fewer trophies that have got several statues.
Several statues? Are there multiple Yaya Toure statues now? Is that
Undoubtedly. Well, one with a cake, one not with a cake.
I would have swapped Yaya Toure for Michael Carrick at any point, just to say I like Michael Carrick a lot, but
anyway.
He's gone. Like that's I would say the most seismic thing. That's a mic drop, as it was described to me by a friend of the show.
It was interesting because he had that long hug with Bruno after the end of the game, and retrospectively you could go, Bruno must have known that was a farewell hug, but it wasn't, because Carrick told the squad in the dressing room after that, unless Bruno just sort of instinctively knew.
Yeah.
So, but
always taking the moonshot, Bruno, isn't he?
It's interesting that Carrick didn't speak to Rangnick about that at all. He'd already made his mind up. He didn't want to be either pressed to go or pressed to stay. He'd promised his family time, and we'll see what happens next, because he obviously wants to build a coaching career. He's been in that role for United for quite some time now, so maybe he'll rock up back at the club sometime or at another club. I mean, I think people felt the same when Nicky Butt left his role as head of development, and he hasn't rocked up anywhere else yet. So we'll see.
Rangnick said that he talked to Carrick at some length and tried to persuade him to stay.
Yeah.
But he said, I have to understand, of course. So from Michael Carrick's farewell chat with the press, which was quite emotional and fairly moving, I thought, and it's hard to begrudge a man the kind of a break after the amount of time he spent in football.
Right. Do you think United will be sending him a bill for any hotel charges after this? No? I'm getting puzzled looks from Paul here.
Yeah, sorry, I've missed the story.
You didn't see the Zlatan autobiography story. So another, it's about the third autobiography Zlatan.
Oh, okay.
So anyway, one away trip, he took a juice out of the minibar and they docked him £1 from his wages.
And rightly so.
Magnificently petty.
Yeah. Anyway, God knows what those wages actually were.
I know. It was probably like £495,000 that week. Minus one.
I was going to say, you've taken...
It was a Capri Sun. I mean, £1 for a hotel juice is not much. I mean,
that's pretty cheap, isn't it? Maybe a really small can of mixer, a mixer juice. Or maybe Zlatan's just made it up like he did everything in his first autobiography.
It could well be. Anyway, Carrick left, emotional farewell, and then we had Rangnick's first press conference and
I watched the whole thing.
Yeah, I know. I was glued to it. Interview with MUTV, his press conference. Interview was great. Detail. The man not only played in England at a very non-league level, but he's obviously a massive Anglophile and student of English football. He seemed to know absolutely everything about the game, and had a very clear plan already for United.
And like any true Anglophile and fan of English football, he continues to call it the Premiership its rightful name. Because you can rebrand it all you like, but some of us are stuck in the 90s, and it's nice to see that Ralf is too.
That's brilliant. I wonder whether at some point he'll just talk about, these foreigners coming over here, not liking it up them.
Well, it was very sad, actually, when he was asked about his coaching staff and stuff, and he said... kind of difficult because of the Brexit regulations. It's just like, oh, anyway.
Yeah, I don't know how, because it's a point system for players, and it's quite an easy formula to work out. So you get points for where the country is ranked and the league standard of that country, and then international appearances and stuff like that, right? So you get a formula. It just means that very good players from crappy quality leagues / countries find it very hard to get enough points. But if it works like that for managers, Germany obviously ranked very highly. So maybe it's different if you're coaching staff. Not sure. Yeah,
the other thing he said was that lots of the people that he would normally appoint are in long-term jobs with big clubs. So, and it's going to be interesting to see what happens in the next couple of weeks in terms of who he brings in, because I think there's possibly an argument that if you're in his position, you need a couple of people who are your people, as well as retaining some of the institutional knowledge, which is, of course, a mistake that's happened multiple times, because every time there's been a managerial shift, apart from the odd goalkeeping coach who got retained, pretty much all the coaching staff have just swapped over time and time again. So it doesn't seem like that's happening this time, does it?
It doesn't, and it's a 6-month contract, so it'd be very hard for the club to go, we're going to ship everyone out and then ship everyone in, then ship everyone out again. You can kind of understand the need for continuity, and then it just means a lot's going to be on Rangnick to get his ideas across in not very much time, because United can't stand still, and there's games every 3 days up until Christmas, and he has about 8 or 9 days because of the way the fixtures have kind of fallen in between Newcastle and whatever the one is before that, one on the 18th and one on the 27th, I think. So he's got that time for coaching, and then he's got, before the Champions League starts up again in the new year, he's got a week and a week and a week. So.
Yeah, and then it's Champions League.
Just no time at all.
Yeah. So I suppose it's worth talking a little bit about some of the detail that came out of the thing. One of the things I thought was notable was that he had a long conversation with Solskjaer, a 90-minute conversation with Solskjaer, which I think, again, speaks to this thing that the Rangnick appointment for the first time is potentially an appointment that builds on what went before rather than tries to destroy everything that went before. I know some people, I suppose probably not that many people listening to this, but there are a cohort of people who cannot conscience anything positive being said about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's time as manager. But I think most United observers would say there were some good things about Solskjaer's time in charge, and it would be useful that isn't just completely jettisoned, but is added to by a manager who has tactical smarts.
Yes, and in a sense, I mean, look, I think with many managerial appointments, what happens is you swing from pole to pole. The clubs go, well, that didn't work, we'll move to something else. And that has happened with United, or sometimes it's just, what's available and who they can get out there. And in a sense, that's true of Rangnick. He's available, they could get him. It seems like Murta had driven this because he's a big fan, More points for Murta. I don't know much about him, and he doesn't seem to have the power he should have as a director of football. But he's seen the light, and it seems, I'm just reading between the lines, don't know this, but it seems that power battle that had happened over Ed Woodward staying or not versus Richard Arnold taking over has been won by Richard Arnold. And Richard Arnold is smart enough to know what he doesn't know.
Yeah.
So,
which is Woodward's worst failing by a margin, I would say, in his time in charge. So the kind of the conversation with Ole is interesting, and it speaks to that thing of like, you know, Solskjaer's exit interview with MUTV and the whole kind of trying not to burn bridges and all that, which is good, all good stuff. And I'm sure Solskjaer has useful things to say to Rangnick, who I would also suspect would pass that through a filter rather than taking it as gospel.
I'm sure, but the one thing that Rangnick did take from Ole, and it must have been at least 86 minutes worth of the 90-minute call, was you're only allowed to bring Donny van der Beek on for a 4 or 5 minute cameo. That's it.
Yeah. One of the other interesting details that obviously, I thought the questions were generally pretty good from the assembled journalist. Andy Mitten, I laughed a lot when Andy Mitten said, "What do you know about the history of this club?" I was like, "Oh, that's looking for any specific angle of quotes, are you? Like, just, you know, anything in the kind of biggest club in the world, Real Monday, anything like anyway." So that was, but it was generally a good set of questions. And of course, he was asked about this 2 years afterwards. Now, Rangnick seemed to be playing with a fairly straight bat all the way through. It was that he was prepared to talk about things. He seemed to want to talk to an extent. Whenever the 2 years thing came up, it was like, yeah, we haven't talked about that. And at that point, you're thinking, wait, what? Like, wouldn't you want it? Aren't some of those details really important? At one point, he even said, I might, at the end of this 6 months, if it's going well, make the same recommendation I made twice at Leipzig, which was to give me the job.
Yeah. Was he going to interview himself?
Yeah.
I did wonder with that how firmly his tongue was in his cheek, you know, because I think he's got a little bit of a cheeky personality. And I was wondering whether he was just playing with the press there a little bit. Because I'm sure they've talked about the details. I mean, it can't just be, we'll sign you on a consultancy contract for $5 million a year or whatever it is. Because he was on a really big contract at Lokomotiv Moscow.
Right.
And rightly so, he said, well, you want me, you have to match this in some way because I'm old and that's security.
Yeah.
You know? And I think he'd be right to do that. And then if the club are smart enough, they'll get something proper out of that consultancy role, and it won't just be advisory going into Murta, going into Joel Glazer, or filtered through Richard Arnold, and you know, the same old. So we'll see, won't we? And in the meantime, he's got to you know, turn United around on the pitch. Although Carrick has helped that, being undefeated in the 3 games for sure. There's a bit more confidence, and then today against Palace, I mean, I think we saw some hints. You know, there was definitely energy for an hour. They're probably not fit enough to carry out the Gegenpress for the full 90.
Or drilled enough as much as anything else.
Drilled enough, yeah. Who's the trigger? Because it's not going to be Ronaldo. And Rangnick talked about Ronaldo, said, you know, he's in my plans sort of thing. Horribly misquoting in there.
He's incredibly fit for a 36-year-old, is what he was saying, basically.
Exactly, he did say that, yeah. Who's the trigger on that and you know, get the drills going? And the other thing, the real Rangnick sort of signature we saw was the narrow formation, the 4-2-2-2, which he's pulled out frequently at his other teams. And he did that and talked 2 minutes in the press conference, gave absolute clarity on the tactics and his approach. And I have to say, I'm not whacking Ole for the sake of beating him when he's down, but it was more clarity than we've heard from Ole in the last 3 years. You know,
absolutely.
Just really clear about why he did that and the kind of control he wanted to get from it.
Like, I can't wait for Carl to get back into those press conferences. Basically, that was my main takeaway, because like it's going to be good having someone in those press conferences to ask the questions about the tactics. Because
ask an open-ended question and let him talk. Basically,
and he'll answer questions about tactics as well, which is sometimes in life you just got to admit what you are, and ultimately I'm at least, when it comes to football, I'm at least 50% a football nerd. So I like hearing them talk about the nerdy stuff. You know, it's interesting, and it gives you more insight into things than, oh yeah, the lads have tried really hard, and you know, they're playing for the DNA of this club, and we love last minute comebacks. And you know, Rangnick's take on the Arsenal game was kind of interesting. He was saying, you know, there were some good things and some bad things, and we sort of lacked a little control. He said something like, I'm going to try and help them keep the ball as far away from our box as possible. It's like, yeah, that's the thing they need most of all, because when it's near our box, they do not respond well. They don't like it at all.
And the great thing about Palace, I mean, we can talk a little bit about Arsenal, because there were some interesting things there as well. But the great thing about the Palace game was that United weren't broke on once. Not once. Never left any space in behind for Palace, while pushing as high up the pitch as possible. And he was very clear about why he played Bruno and Sancho narrow, in order to, you know, stop those attacks from the front and also control that midfield. Because, you know, Fred had a decent game. McTominay, one hilarious time when he had the option to play the ball out to Dalot on the right. It really should have gone inside the fullback, and he went outside the fullback and kicked it into touch. And it was just like, yeah, that's Scott all over. You know, hard to keep control when you haven't got the ball because you're kicking it into touch. Sorry to some of our Insta followers who don't like that discussion. But anyway, you know, he was just very clear about why he set up that way and what he was trying to do. He was trying to use Rashford's pace for the vertical ball, you know, the ball in behind, keep Palace honest, and then retain possession in midfield. And it basically worked. I mean, it turned into, as a result, a kind of boring game, honestly.
But it was boring, but it wasn't like Louis van Gaal boring, right? It wasn't stolid and players not being able to break beyond the ball and, you know, those kinds of things. Because I was thinking that when you were talking about them not counter-attacking, it was... I was not... I mean, I did have another match on a different TV, so that maybe helped. But I wasn't too bored watching this game.
No, it's just it didn't have the excitement of Arsenal, and you know, clearly United needed to not have that excitement. And it's a clean sheet, and it's the first clean sheet at home since when, Paul? You were looking it up last season sometime.
So unless I've missed one when I was scrolling back, there was one in the Europa League at the back end of last season. Was it Groningen, did I say? Anyway, I think that might have been them. Granada, that's right. We didn't play Groningen. Yeah, so we kept a clean sheet in that. But the last league game that they kept clean sheet at home was the 14th of March. Against David Moyes' West Ham United. 14th of March is a really long time ago. We're really nearly into next year, and March is pretty early in the year. Like it's
yeah.
You know.
Last time I checked the calendar, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like, this is just to stress. March is a long time ago. So a clean sheet at home is quite something. And by the way, saying a clean sheet at home's been a long time would imply that there were loads of clean sheets away in that time. There were not. There were one or two, but certainly not a lot.
On the creative side, United didn't create... I mean, plenty of shots in this game, but I think a lot of speculative stuff, not a lot of high-quality opportunities. I mean, even the Fred goal is a low-quality chance, and it's on his right foot, so it's a very low-quality chance. I don't think the models take account of that.
It's Fred. It's
Fred, taking his, as Bruno said, one shot per year.
So harsh. He scored against Leeds with friends like these.
I know.
Bruno does love to make fun of Fred, who seems to take it in excellent spirits.
He has a very dry sense of humour, yeah. So, look, I mean, loads of positives for Rangnick to take away. You know, not even Harry Maguire was able to ruin that. Sorry, Harry. Yeah. He took a whack at the end of the game. I was like, yeah, he's been playing like that all season. So,
yeah, Harry Maguire's natural state is a bandage wrapped around his head. Him and McTominay, they've both got the style of football that you would expect them to play with bandages wrapped around their heads fairly frequently. The Arsenal game was like way more fun. Right from Arsenal's goal, which was really, really funny. I mean, I know that, we're not supposed to find Manchester United misfortune funny, but it was really funny because Fred tackled De Gea, injured him, and then they scored a goal.
I know. I mean, it was completely ridiculous, and a lot of chat on social media, obviously. But I think clearly the right decision from a refereeing point of view. He hadn't stopped the game. He didn't call a foul because there wasn't one, and there's nothing in the laws of the game that says you have to stop the game for an injury. I mean, they're supposed to for a head injury, but just anything else, you wait till the ball's dead, and it just happened to be the keeper. They don't actually, in the laws of the game, have some special protection. So there's all of that. And then I suppose there's the kind of sportsman, type. Emile Smith Rowe could have just stopped it, caught it and gone.
He might not have seen
down.
it. He might legitimately not have seen it. There's a lot of people between him and De Gea.
Maybe, yeah. He could have pulled a Di Canio, couldn't he? And
sure, but I mean, what would have actually been good is if Arsenal had stopped and let us score a goal. It would have just been really interesting seeing Ronaldo fighting tooth and nail to be the one that put the ball in the back of the net for his stats.
And Fred steaming in to whack it over from 3 yards out, yeah.
And Arsenal being like, we've given you one chance, we're not giving you another one. But that didn't happen, but we didn't need them to, because a fantastic piece of play from Sancho to find Fred, and a very fine ball from Fred to Bruno, who did well with the finish. I thought it was an excellent goal, one of the better goals we've scored this season.
Yes, and then came the penalty. No, it's Ronaldo's the first goal was not the penalty. Then there's the penalty later, yeah.
So Ronaldo's first goal came from a cutback from the right-hand side, and he sort of steered it in.
Was that from Dalot or...?
Yeah, it might have been. It might have been. It was Dalot that did the reverse pass.
Dalot did an excellent reverse pass, yeah.
Yeah, maybe to Rashford.
Rashford or Greenwood, I can't remember. Greenwood, maybe.
Not Greenwood, because he played today.
Yeah, anyway. Someone got the assist, and we can't remember.
But it was a good goal.
But it was a good goal,
good
nicely
finish.
Worked. And then the pen, I mean,
then they scored. They scored to make it 2-2, because we went. You don't remember this game at all, do you?
Well, I just don't, it's so much chaos, I don't remember the order of things.
Yeah. So they scored, we scored, they scored, we scored, I believe is the order it went in. I could be wrong about that, but I seem to remember them equalising pretty quickly afterwards with a well-worked goal themselves. No calamitous United defending, if I recall correctly, in this one. It's just a very entertaining game of football all around, and then an absolute nailed on pen on Fred, who ended up with an assist at both ends and creating a penalty, and was probably legitimately man of the match in spite of taking out our goalkeeper for their opening goal, which is quite some doing.
He had a hand in all 5 goals, Fred did. So
what did he do for their second?
Did he give the ball away? I was chatting with someone on Twitter about this. I think he maybe gave the ball away. But it was there was a lot going on with Fred, as there often is. I think, coming back to our previous conversation, Rangnick will have him in the team every week.
Yeah.
And just because of the amount of pressures. And he definitely thrives in a system where he's given a little more license to move forward. I mean, we don't want him at number 10 because he can't use the ball. But certainly where he's not the defensive midfielder, he's a better player.
Yeah.
If he could pass, he'd be a great player, but he can't really.
He can sometimes.
But not with any level of consistency.
Which is a bit of an issue. That was that game. I thought it was nice to see Bruno playing well.
Not Bruno. Yeah. We've had one pen previously, which Bruno skied.
Yeah.
Under pressure from Ronaldo looking at him. And then Ronaldo's... I mean, it's harsh, isn't it? Miss one pen and you're off. Because I bet if Ronaldo misses one, Bruno's not back on. There's no way he's getting them back.
Ronaldo scored his 800th and 801st league goal? Or club goal?
Or club goal. Professional goal. Professional goal, yeah. Yes, I mean, some commentary about how many exactly Pele got and Romario got, but a lot of Pele's goals, as has been widely noted, came in sort of friendly and exhibition matches. So, FIFA's recognised stats, but now Ronaldo on top with 801. Whatever, it's a phenomenal record, given that for the first sort of 2 seasons of his time at United, 2.5 seasons at his time with United. He didn't really score that many goals. And he's, testament not only to his longevity, but the quality of finishing. And in latter years, his unmitigated selfishness in front of goal. just there isn't a shot Ronaldo hasn't liked the look of. Ever. The thing is, he can put them away, so you forgive him, don't you, for that?
Yeah, for that. He's a phenomenon. He's unbelievable. One of the all-time greats, obviously. Well done, him, etc.
We're clipping that and putting it out. for his 15th autobiography.
You just leave. You got to leave in the facial expressions. That sort of like ask it.
We'll do that on a podcast.
So then comes Palace, which I think was always going to be a reasonably significant test, given how good Palace have been this season. I know I kind of say this on the Backers content every week, but they've hardly played badly all season, Palace. Conor Gallagher's been in unbelievable form. Zaha's super dangerous. I don't know if Eze was on the bench in this game, but
he came on late on,
Right, yeah. So he's been back on the bench, and it's really nice to see. I hope he can be back to something of his best, because, you know, given what he did in the Hodgson team, what he'll do in this team could be really exciting to watch. But it was always going to be difficult. They've conceded a lot of goals, but they haven't been anywhere near like calamitous at the back, I don't think.
No, and they are, and the thing they're dangerous doing is breaking. I mean, they do have a lot of pace up front. Ayew, Benteke, less Benteke and Zaha.
Benteke at all.
He's not quick.
No.
But Ayew and Zaha are, and Eze is when he's back fit. I mean, certainly sort of playing in those half spaces and coming from midfield. And so, you know, they are built to cause United problems. And there was a stage, certainly during this game, that it looked like it was going to be a sort of Palace get a chance off a free kick and scored the one, and United can't make the breakthrough. And they had a very good chance just before Fred scored, where, was it Gallagher put the ball across?
And Ayew,
And Ayew missed it, but apart from that, they hardly created anything, Palace.
There was a dodgy one in the first half with the tackle. Was it a tackle on Fred?
Yes.
That looked pretty dodgy to me.
It looked like an orange, didn't it? It was.
And then Greenwood comes on the right for Sancho, and then Rashford was off for someone else, and he played Bruno on the left of midfield, kind of at that point, and he kind of switched to a 4-4-2. But that was where the goal came from.
Elanga came on for Rashford.
That's right. Oh yeah, of course. That's an important one.
Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah. And every time I've seen Elanga, I've been impressed with him.
Yeah, me too.
And it's interesting. He hasn't gone out on loan because he's probably too good for the under-23s, but he's clearly with the training with the first team, and Rangnick has liked what he's seen and got him on the pitch for 15 minutes, which is
more
sadly
than Donny
for Bronny. More than Donny's got in quite some time.
Well, not that long. He's been in the first team quite a lot lately.
But it doesn't even count. It doesn't count.
No.
Does it count?
And the one of the things that Rangnick was the one really stupid question that Rangnick was asked in his press conference sounded like a Norwegian journalist to me, which was about Alfinger Haaland? No. Erling Haaland.
We've got more chance of signing Alfinger, by the way.
Erling Haaland, he was asked about his friendship, and he was asked, the journalist said, there were reports that you are on a bonus if United sign Haaland. And he's like, Rangnick was like, I get 10 million if we sign Haaland. I get 10 million if we sign Mbappe. 10 million if we sign Joshua Kimmich.
I know, that one was plucked out. I was like, maybe that one is it's the double bluff.
Like if we sign Joshua Kimmich, I'd be happy. That'd be the one that would make me happiest out of all of those, to be honest. Because the thing he said, of course, everyone knows Haaland is an amazing player. 2 years ago, only we knew Haaland was an amazing player, but now everyone knows this.
Yeah, by the way, it's a stupid conversation, but United should just throw whatever money It doesn't matter if you have to give fucking Mino Raiola 20 million to get him in. This guy is going to score hundreds of goals.
And that would be great. But the thing that I liked about what Rangnick said more than anything else is United are incredibly well stocked in attacking departments. This is not where they need to strengthen. And of course, you'd buy Haaland if you could, but they don't need to buy Haaland. It would be lovely. They need to buy a flipping central midfielder, and they need to do that in January. He gave the classic January answer, obviously, of like hard to do business, etc., etc.
There's been a lot of reporting, which I have to say has been of the unconvincing nature of things, which is like basically linking United with every RB Leipzig player going and all the midfielders. So I'm discounting all of that. It seems that football journalism really should be labelled opinion. And because it's just without the danger of getting sued for libel. Anyway, cynical take, but yes, there's been a lot of that and speculation, and I'm sure he'll look at United's midfield resources and go, it's really light, it's desperately light. Matic has played a couple of games recently, but he's been gone for some time, and we know Fred and McTominay's limitations. And will we ever see Pogba again? I don't know. The
thing that I thought was kind of interesting is I remember you saying earlier this season, every single top coach in the world, given United's starting 11, would be playing McTominay and Fred because you have to, not because it's a good thing, but because there's really no option. It was interesting that Rangnick started with McTominay and Fred, and I think we're going to see a lot of the two of them, and it very much like Klopp's starting 11s when he got to Liverpool. This isn't because he thinks they're great. It's because what are you going to do otherwise? Like, what else could you do realistically?
Yes. If they miraculously pull off a deal for an all-round defensive midfielder who's able to pass the ball and defend, great. I mean, you'd have them in the team straight away, but it seems unlikely, but it ought to be part of Rangnick's consultancy remit to go and help make that happen, I would say, after the end of the season. And it depends whether United make the Champions League. I mean, it's his first game, but there's just no points to play with already.
No, it's true.
A third of the way into the season.
I think there are actually, though, because I think there's the one problem is that Spurs got Conte, who gets a lot of points all the time. But everyone else, I think West Ham are going to start. They had an amazing result this weekend, but they've got about 17 defenders injured. And I think they're going to start dropping points and might start dropping fairly precipitously. Arsenal, I guess Arsenal might be consistent this season, but given that they just lost to us 3-2, I'm going to suggest that they're probably not going to be particularly consistent either. And at the moment, it's only Spurs and West Ham that are above us anyway. Arsenal obviously have a game in hand, and if they win that, they will go above us. But yeah, so I don't. When I say they're the only ones above us, I'm obviously mean for that fourth spot, which is what we're competing for, right? So, anything else meaningful to say about this Crystal Palace game, Ed?
No.
I'd say so. A fantastic goal from Fred. Absolutely fantastic hit. Brilliant little cutback from Mason Greenwood, who, he was so upset that there was no shot on. You can see him looking. You could imagine a Terminator 2 style heads up display where he's looking for a tiny microscopic gap, none found. It all flashes red past a Fred. Really sad face. But then Fred
Mason
did that.
Finished 6th or 7th in the Ballon d'Or, Junior Ballon d'Or, whatever it's called.
Oh, nice.
The Copper or the Cod, I can't remember what it's called anyway. I mean, it's an interesting season for Mason. So not scoring at the rate perhaps we'd like to, obviously not playing centrally because
Well, he never has, really.
No. Although, I reckon he would have played centrally quite a lot this season if United hadn't made that last-minute trolley dash for Ronaldo. And he's had COVID recently, so he's missed a couple of weeks of matches.
Yeah, but it's good to see him back.
Good to see him back, yeah, because COVID can, ruin a season for players, as Dean Henderson will attest. He's not had a sniff.
Sure, yeah. But yeah, not had a sniff is probably an unfortunate turn of phrase, given I imagine he had a runny nose for at least some of it. But anyway, the consequences of this game. Oh yeah, we were talking about points, the number of points that there were to play with, and
so United on 24 points, and that's 11 behind City, who are top of the table after this weekend's results. The expected points are quite a lot lower than that. It's kind of weird that United are, in theory, overperforming, given how poor the performance has been. But
But that's. I think that's really clear. There's been a couple of snatched victories or draws that could easily have been losses.
Exactly.
That kept Solskjaer in a job as long as he did.
Yep. So, but the thing, looking at the schedule now for Rangnick, even though it's really busy, there are some, medium tough. But we're not playing Liverpool, City, and Chelsea in the run upcoming. I mean, he's going to be able to get his feet into the job. That doesn't make any sense. Get his feet under the table.
He can get his feet into the job.
He could, yeah.
That's what you need to do. That's what the players need to do. When a new player comes, they need to get Donny van der Beek needs to get his feet under the job. Hey, why do the Stretford End love Donny van der Beek so much? Like, I feel generally pretty positive about Donny van der Beek.
Yeah.
But there's no evidence. I mean, we saw what he's like at Ajax, but the Stretford End will sing his name at the absolute drop of a hat.
They will. And is it not? I mean, I was being a little cynical in the WhatsApp group by calling it a pity. Isn't it something a bit like that? He's not had a shout. He's not had a chance in the team, and this ridiculous thing of bringing him on with 5 minutes to go, which happens a lot.
I wonder whether it is just there is just partly it's like everything's been terrible and he hasn't been in the team. Ergo.
It's not
somehow he must be good, therefore. And just this sense that there's a player in there that it's hard to shake about Van der Beek. It's like, there's a player in there, right? There's a player. Surely there's a player in there. That's, that feeling. And a desire to show some support. But it's really noticeable. You talked about the run that we've got, and it's almost as if the club were waiting for that absolutely unconscionably awful run of fixtures to be out of the way to sack their struggling manager and to bring in somebody who knows what they're doing.
Yes, mind you, doing that over the international break and then starting with Watford in the bottom three might have been the time to do it as well. But that's all in the past. We don't need to relitigate just how sensible United are in their planning and stuff like that. So, and look, it's not as if United haven't struggled with games against teams like Wolves and Brighton and stuff in the past. So they're not all gimmies or anything like that. But you'd have that rather than a trip to Anfield or something like that right now for a new manager. Sure.
They don't play anyone currently above them in the league until the 22nd of January. And they don't play anyone you'd expect to finish above them in the league until the 5th of March. It's Man City. I mean, I'm just going to read out a list of names of clubs here, but it's like Norwich, Brentford, Brighton, Newcastle, Burnley, Wolves, Villa, West Ham, Burnley, Southampton, Leeds, Watford. Like, I'm not saying we're going to win all those games. I don't think we are going to win all those games. And Brentford away, just to pick one at random, I think is going to be a really tricky fixture. And a number of them will. But that is after a really difficult run, a run where now we're really going to see whether this season is going to be a disaster or not, right? Because if this run of fixtures is bad, then yes, this season is a disaster and a write-off. But if we have a decent run in this run, then we could easily be fourth come the end of January.
Yeah, that's right. And Rangnick will have had some time to work his tactical magic, something like that.
We play Young Boys in a game that really is a proper dead rubber.
It is a dead rubber, except for, United would preferably finish top of that group because in theory you'll get not one of the really big boys. I mean, I think we'd probably like to avoid Bayern Munich, wouldn't we, in the next round, I suppose?
Yes, please.
Yeah. I mean, it's not like anyone expects United to win this competition. But with some tactical jiggery-pokery and all of that kind of stuff in cup games, you never know how far they could go.
No one expected Frank Lampard's Chelsea to win the Champions League.
Yes. Well, until Thomas they sacked Frank Lampard. Yeah.
Well, yeah, no, exactly. That's what I mean. Like, nobody expects United to win the Champions League, but hey, Tuchel did it at Chelsea last season with not that much better a squad. than United have got now, or certainly a squad with kind of some significant imbalances to it. So it's not like it can't be done, although, of course.
That's right. And the team, I don't know. I mean, is this one where Ronaldo gets a rest? We'll see. Probably not, but it should be probably.
No, he won't start that game.
Cavani's not been anywhere near being fit, and it's really deeply frustrating because we wanted to see more of him, and he's just not. And the same last season as well. He was signed late and then not fit for large parts of it, and presumably if this continues, he won't get another contract, whether he wanted to sign one or not. So that's a shame. Interesting that Telles and Dalot have done okay in the team.
I think Dallow's looked really good, I would say.
I mean, especially going forward. I mean, he puts decent balls in. He likes to get forward. He's positive. He's proactive. He doesn't cut back all the time. He's not, I haven't seen him make some grandiose last-ditch tackle, flicking out those spider legs and all that, but that's not his game. And also in the setup that Rangnick has, that's the outball, the fullbacks. They played like wingbacks. I think he said it after the game. They played like wingbacks, and you can't do that with Wan-Bissaka. So it's a good option. It's good. It's good that he's come in and done okay.
Yeah, absolutely. After the Young Boys game, which I think we'll see heavy rotation for, because it's not even guaranteed that even if we lost this game, we would end up not topping the group, because we're 3 points ahead of Villarreal right now.
Right, and they can't score at all at the moment.
So we'll see what happens there. I would imagine it will be. I wouldn't. A couple of seasons ago, I would have said this would be a game that Juan Mata plays in. He is still in the squad, but him playing a game seems really, really unlikely at this. Why is he still in the squad? Like, what? We are a weird football club.
What was the game he came on for not that long ago? He got like 5 minutes at the end of one of the games. Was it in Villarreal? So I don't remember.
I couldn't tell you.
I couldn't tell you either. This is the quality of stuff you come for, folks.
He played against Liverpool in 2015 at Anfield. He was really good. There you go. That's what I remember about Juan Mata's Man United career.
Villarreal, by the way, lost at Sevilla. They're not in a good... Even lost to Barcelona. I mean, it's got to be... It's bad times when that happens.
And they're in a difficult moment.
They are.
To quote Juan Mata, who has spent his entire United career in a difficult moment, apart from that time he did that one-footed glide in his first game. Do you remember that? Oh, my God. I can still see the gif of that, the dew glistening off the grass as he just... I mean, it's one of the most extraordinary things I've ever seen on a football pitch. And,
Juan Mata's sinewed, oily body there for you to... No. So
you seem to have very much got the wrong end of the stick about this, Ed. I'm admiring the technical grace, not the not the overall aesthetic impression. He's
not going to play anyway. But,
no, he's not. And
I think it'd be interesting to see if Lingard plays, because he's not had much of a chance this season, despite staying at the club. Whoever's decision that was for that to happen. So if he's just going to wait out his contract, fine. If not, play him, use him.
Yeah. Then we play Norwich, who had been on, this 4-game unbeaten streak. It was a sort of extraordinary turn of events for them, but lost 3-0 today to Tottenham, including an absolute thraker from Lucas Moura after 10 minutes.
Something here, wasn't it?
Yeah. And Davinson Sanchez, we'll talk about this on the Patreon, I guess, but Davinson Sanchez scored in that game and did the, what of it celebration, which I do not believe centre-backs should ever do. Centre-backs should go loopy when they score a goal, because, you're going to score what? Probably going to score 30 top-flight goals in your career. Go mad!
And definitely don't do what Maguire did, which is stick your fingers in your ears and then cup your hands to your ears in a "I'm not listening to you, what are you saying now" kind of celebration.
It's a clear mixed message. But I have to say, you should do that over the non-celebration as a centre-back. If you want to stick your fingers in the ear and go, "This makes up for all my terrible defending," that's fine. But yeah.
Sticking it to Albania. Anyway, we're relitigating that one now. It still irks me, got to say. I'm being petty, but it does. Anyway, Norwich got spanked, and as I guess you'd expect them to, based on their results this season. But yeah, they'd had a little upturn in form. The bounce is over now, right?
Maybe not. Maybe it's just a more difficult game than the ones that they've bounced in.
Bottom of the table.
They're not going to be allowed to play Brandon Williams against us, so they've got no chance.
Yeah. He hasn't always played this season. He's not always allowed to play for Norwich. Interesting. I wasn't sure about that loan when it happened, because going to a team that's going to be fighting relegation, it's hard to shine.
Although defensively, I guess you could show what you can do. That's going to be the last game that I cover on this podcast. Norwich. Wow. Norwich away. I really timed this badly.
Really did. Yeah. You don't want to, wait until United play City in March. No. Norwich away. The glory.
Yeah. Really big time.
Well, we'll do a big mailbag one for that one, I think.
Okay.
And why not? We used to do it until we decided that we were just too big for it, and we just didn't want to listen to the plebs anymore. But plebs, hit us up on Twitter, and I guess me up on Twitter, since you've quit social media, and we'll finally answer the question you've always been asking.
Oh, no.
Is would you fight 100 mini sharks? No.
Oh yeah, one horse-sized duck. The number of podcasts I've heard that question on since it was first on ours. I'm not saying we were the first, because I'm sure we weren't. But one horse-sized duck or 100 duck-sized horses? I mean, it's really easy for me, that question.
Well, we'll wait until next week and you can tell us the answer.
No, I'm getting in right now. One horse-sized duck sounds like the most terrifying thing I've ever heard in my life. 100 duck-sized horses. If they've got the strength of a full-grown horse, then you're in real trouble. But
otherwise,
I think
you just kick them around, don't you?
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. You just need a net to sweep a net up and scoop them all and dump them over the fence, and hear them bumping into the fence, neighing. I need to stop doing this podcast now, Ed. I've gone too far.
We'll be back next week for Young Boys and Norwich chat.
Predictions for those two games?
2-0 against Young Boys and 2-0 against Norwich.
Yeah, I think we'll concede 1 against Young Boys. So I'll go 2-1 in that game, and then I'm going to say we're going to turn on the style against Norwich and win 4-0. I'll go out on a bad prediction, right? Just to keep up the habit of 11 years of podcasting.
And I've pulled out your predictions from the previous 522 episodes, and we'll have the aggregate score.
Nice, great. How many goals I'm off by in the history of the
I should
show.
be listening to 500 and something hours of podcasting, including the 4-hour World Cup specials.
No, they were good, they were.
They were.
They were fun. We wouldn't have done next year's anyway, because God, no. It's rough. Are you going to do them? Oh, we could talk about that closer to the time.
No idea.
Amnesty asked people not to boycott coverage.
Yes, because you want to highlight what's going on.
Yeah. So I guess
if you do that, it didn't really seem to happen at Russia 2018, I have to say.
No, but it's funny how the Western media doesn't tend to be as hard on Russia as they are on the Arab world. I wonder what that could be about.
Well, we'll cover that later in the year. Next year, I guess. You won't, but
I'll enjoy listening to that.
We will at some point. And, everyone, thanks for listening. And before we go, Paul's got a point.
No point. I was going to ask you a question, and I was like, well, I should ask him that off air, so I'm not massively putting him on the spot.
All right. We'll do that and catch everyone else next week.
Oh, yeah, Patreon backers, stay tuned. We're going to talk about football.
This podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.
There's nothing like being in the stands cheering on your favorite team. Game Time is your hack to unlocking amazing tickets in just a few taps. Plus, their Game Time guarantee means you can trust you'll get 100% authentic tickets at the best price. Fees are always included, so what you see is what you pay. Get the best deals on sports tickets. Download the Game Time app and create an account to start searching for tickets to upcoming games and events. Swipe, tap, ticket, go. Game Time.